Hello everyone and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Michael and I'm bitten by a radioactive book. Today is Thursday and that means female fantasy author feature on my channel, and this week we are looking into Gail Z Martin, an American fantasy author. The first series I'd like to talk about is the Chronicles of the Necromancer series. It's the first series Gail Z Martin wrote, and this one is about Triss. And in the world Triss lives in, spirits are walking between the people, and yeah, on some nights or some days in the year they can be seen by a lot of people, but I think not everyone is able to see them, but some people are able to always see them, and Triss is kind of one of them. And Triss is the son of a king, I think, and this king is murdered. I think by his half-brother or by Triss's half-brother, I'm not quite sure. And of course now Triss has to flee because the new king is threatened by his claim to the throne and wants him dead. And with the help of the spirits and yeah, a party of adventurers he gathers around him, he's on his journey or on his quest to retake his throne. And lately, one subscriber, Vanessa, asked me, "Oh, do you actually only read like ebooks? Because you never show like actual physical books on your channel." And yeah, I really seldomly do this because most of my physical books are actually in storage. But this is a series I actually have available here in physical format. So I can show actually books for this series. So Vanessa, here you go. The first installment in the series is The Summoner. We have it here. We also have the picture up there because I just like having the pictures up there. The second installment, I'm totally, you see, an amateur when it comes to this, is The Blood King. I might hold it here because then, yeah. The Blood King is the second installment. We have Dark Haven, which is the third installment, and I'm doing it again. Third installment, there we go. Let's see, the guy with the sword. And the fourth installment is Dark Lady's Chosen. Yeah, and so there's proof I actually own physical books. You haven't guessed it, and I now have a lot of respect for all my fellow YouTubers. How do you do it? There are people that sit there and hold this book for all the time, and it looks always good and doesn't have a silly reflection and something like that. So yeah, I'm terrible at this, so we stick with the cover overlays I do. Next up we have the Fallen Kings cycle, which is a duology made up of the Swan and the Dread. It's the, or it's I think a prequel series, at least it plays in the same world as the Chronicles of the Necromancers do, and it's about, I think, the king or the father of Triss, who was king before him and gets killed in the Chronicles, because the characters have the same name, so I assume it's about him. And yeah, so we're going a little bit back into the history of the world and see the adventures of Triss's father. Next up we have the Ascendant Kingdoms, which is her third series, and this, so far as I know, plays in its own secondary world. It's a very interesting premise because we have like prisoners who are shipped off into the north, yeah, where they have to live under very like harsh conditions, and once in a while a ship is sent to them with like basic supplies, and one day the ships stop. And now the prisoners have two choices, actually. The first one is they could stay up there in the north, hope that the ship comes, and or maybe they are able to sustain from from the harsh land there, or something that actually shouldn't work because they are prisoned there for a reason, like going back south and making like this huge trip and find out what actually happened in the kingdom. I think that's like the premise, and that seems rather unique, a rather unique plot, and that is really intriguing. And last but not least, Gail Z started another series last year, and this time it's not like a traditional fantasy, it's more like an urban fantasy, or if you look at the cover, maybe with paranormal romance elements, I don't know. It's the Deadly Curiosities series, and the first book is also called Deadly Curiosities. It's about I want to say Kate Cassidy, but I'm not sure. I have to look that up. Just a second. It's Cassidy Kincaid. Yeah. However, it's about Cassidy Kincaid, and Cassidy is the owner of a shop of antiques and curiosities, and she also is part of a family and an organization that looks for magical objects and take those objects out of the hand of people who maybe want to misuse them. So that is like the paranormal or element in the story. And that sounds intriguing and interesting, and if you're looking for an urban fantasy, that might be a new one to discover. So that was the look into the series by Gail Z. Next week we're looking into N.K. Jemisin. So I hope you liked this week's installment. If you did, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of me, subscribe to my channel. If you want to know what's coming up on my channel, please look inside the description box. There's a little segment there called On the Horizon. I wish you a good day and hope you get bitten by a really good book too. Bye.